So I was trying to find a way to write this in a way that that just flows, but every single time I wrote something, it would lead to another thing, and then it would lead to another thing, and then it's like, how am I going to portray this and actually show how important it is? Because, like, stress, anxiety, like, overthinking, lack of self-loving, lack of self-worth, like, not loving yourself, like, hating, just picking on all the negative things. It's such a prevalent thing out there. It's like, it affects both girls and guys, but women, I don't know. It's something about us that just, we don't accept who we are, or we just always want to be that little bit more. And I completely, well, not completely, but a large proportion of the blame goes to social media and the images portrayed there. Like, especially our generation, as we were growing up, that's when a lot of thin ideals and all that stuff was just flooding the market. And it's only now that fit is the new skinny, and women are actually starting to get into weights. But there's still always the fear out there that lifting heavy is going to get you big and bulky. Like, it's just a real thing. No matter how many times I see a lot of those myths getting busted, and people, and like women in the weight rooms now, it doesn't leave the fear of a lot of women's minds, especially, like, I don't want to say that I don't believe in it, because it's not entirely true, because you're going to have to put yourself into a gaining phase to actually put on any muscle. But there's a difference between males and females. Like, the idea of going through a cut and then needing to reverse out of it, or bulk out of it, or the improvement season, or like having to put on muscle and put yourself into a surplus, can scare the living daylights out of a lot of women. Like, I have this one amazing client, she knows exactly who she is, but she tells me all the time how fearful she is of it, but she trusts me completely. So she's one of my most anal clients. She's a macro client. Everything is to the gram. And it's because of that I'm able to be very, like, phasic with her nutrition. Like, she has higher days, lower days, and the same with her training. Like, there are days that are pretty damn full on, and then other days that I back the hell off. So because she does that, I'm able to be precise with her stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, she says all the time that she doesn't, like, she's always got that fear in her head that she doesn't want to get bulky and manly, but she knows that unless she has exogenous testosterone coming in, that's not going to happen. But that fear is always going to be there. And I find that is the case with a lot of women out there. And, like, aside from that, negative body image, I should really just class this as mental health, because that's what this whole thing is about. Mental health, anxiety, like, negative body image. It's not a subject that's talked about a lot directly, and it's not something that should be taken lightly. And there was a screenshot the other day that actually really annoyed me in a way, because it was like, it's simply trying to say that it's a consequence of what you're eating, because it triggers certain cells in your gut that send the nerves to your brain and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's a thing, but you can't just say that you are like that you are just playing the victim card because you're fueling your shit with that food. And like, it's not that simple. And it annoys me when people say, oh, all you need are these herbs. Oh, all you need is to just eat this food or that food or take this oil or smell this scent or this, that, the other. It's like, no, anxiety is a real thing. And the more that we don't talk about it, and the more that we don't talk about like the impact of negative body image on our lives, because having such a negative body image can actually aggravate anxiety and all these other issues in the downfall. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's not simple, but focusing on things that can be like triggered kind of thing, like negative body image is one main thing. Like, confidence is attractive, and it's not something that just happens to you. It's something that you need to work on like daily, kind of like you're brushing your teeth. And I found that in moments when I was not confident whatsoever, that faking it actually helped, because it made me force kind of positivity into my life, and it made me think of positive words that I never would usually say about myself. And by actually putting it out onto social media as well, I started believing it in the same way too. And I have a client that actually did it too. She's like, yes, I'm getting BMs all the time. Yes, my belly's actually feeling so much better now because I'm digesting better. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like, all these positive things actually make your body work so much better. And when I touched on the gut bacteria and all that other stuff before, if you're in a chronically stressed state, chronically anxious state, chronically hating your body and hating your body image, you're not allowing your body to actually function properly, because you're constantly in this stressed. I keep saying the word stress, and it's not really describing anything because it's the same word and you won't understand, but it's like fight or flight. You know, adrenaline, noradrenaline, or cortisol. Cortisol, noradrenaline, adrenaline. It's you're just flooding your system with all of these fight or flight hormones, and you're not allowing your body to actually be in a parasympathetic state, which means it's relaxing, it's doing its job, it's digesting, it's metabolizing, it's like, it's letting your body use the energy that you're giving it, absorb the nutrients, and like, anti-aging, it does everything because it keeps your cells within your body at their optimal functionality. But when you're stressed, you're not allowing, like, things get blocked off, chemical pathways get altered, because you're like, the cortisol, the adrenaline, the noradrenaline, like, they don't work in isolation. They trigger other cascades, and it's too complicated to even get into, and I don't even know the whole boatload of it, because it's just the whole, like, our bodies are amazing. But tell me, how do you when you are performing a task, your mind, your body is able to perform that much better when you are performing it from a calm state and a state of positivity. But if you're chronically stressed and anxious and worried about everything, you're overthinking things, you're just, everything seems that much harder. Like, I know if I enter the gym, for example, and I'm stressed out or I'm worrying about 100 other things, I don't actually like, it takes me longer to do my workout. I don't perform to my optimum, and I'm not able to channel my passive aggressive to lift heavy weights. So, like, so many things in your life can get affected just from this negative state of being. Like, you need to ditch the negative mindset and just stop yourself. Like, it's not easy. It's not something you can just switch off. Like, besides faking it, another thing you can do, like, one thing that I'm like, to me, I keep repeating this because the more I repeat it, the more I get it into my head. Like I said, fake it till you make it. And not just that, but the more I say it, the more I'm holding myself accountable to it. And the more that I'm riveting it into my own head. Like, a lot of people are afraid to do that stuff because they're like, what if I like make all these promises and then I don't hold up to them? Well, make them, and then make sure that you take the action steps you need to hold up to them. Because if it means that much to you, you're going to do it. Like, to me, my Team Ruby means everything to me. It actually means that much to me that if I cannot make it onto the bodybuilding stage next year, I'm not going to do it. Because there are other things that make me who I am than getting onto that stage as much as I want it. So if I end up putting that off, it's just going to be a big off season for me. But one thing I am doing is I'm going to Pro Raw. That's one thing I set myself, because 2019 for me is about being selfish, and that contradicts what I just said about getting onto the stage. But being selfish to me comes in more forms than just getting onto that stage. Now, I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that I have the best opportunity possible to get onto that stage. But at the same time, I know that getting onto that stage, because I'm not a bikini girl, I'm a figure girl, it means a lot of discipline and strict freaking dieting. And I don't want to compromise my ability to be the best coach I can be because I am putting myself through really hard, aggressive dieting. Now, if I decide somewhere near the end of the year that I want to do it, then I will. But in the meantime, my deadlift, I can be strong and I can be a good coach at the same time, because I'm not dieting for unhealthy levels of leanness. I'm dieting for life right now. I eat to perform. I eat to nourish my body. Now, back to what I was saying. One of my goals is to actually put myself first and to make sure that I'm on top of my game. And I want to try and document more of my life and let you into my life more, so you can learn more about me, more about what I do outside of just taking videos and photos at the gym. Because I feel in that way I'll be able to be a better role model to you guys, which is my biggest goal in life. Like, I want to be a role model for women nationwide, worldwide, whatever. And it sounds so stupid for me to say it, but that's just what I want to be. And my biggest value is to empower other women. And I can't do that behind a screen if all I show is one aspect of me and I'm not walking the talk. So 2018 was all about evolving, growing, being better, bigger, faster, stronger. But yeah, just being everything that's bigger. And it was more external. Like, I was building out here, but not taking it in for myself. But that was just my way of growing and my way of practical experience, putting things out there and learning through my actions, because I'm a doer. I learn through practicality. And then I can apply, and then I'm going to bring all that evolving inside while I'm still doing learning outside. Anyway, this is what I'm showing you. Like, stop and think. Get a diary. Journal. It is so powerful. Like, anyone who underestimates the power of a diary, like, it's something I used to do nightly. I don't do it anymore. I put most of my journaling into my captions on my private Instagram, but I am aiming to journal a little bit more. But this is more of my diary, just so I can keep myself organized. A day to a page. I can use it as a diary. I can use it as a journal, because let's face it, I don't do that much shit in a day. So I can, like, use it for both, and that's pretty much going to be my Bible for 2019. But when you speak down to yourself, these are the main points that I got for it. When you speak down to yourself, take a second. Would you talk to your friends that way? Would you talk to your family members that way? Would you talk to your kids that way? Would you want to hear your kids talking to themselves that way? because I highly doubt it. And you need to think about, stand outside from it and actually think about it. Because a lot of the time you're too in the moment that you don't actually look on it. If you can change the way you look at things, the things you look at actually do change. And if you can have one positive for every negative, your mindset and your outlook on things will change drastically. 1 second. I'm hot. Have to make my fan higher. Another big thing is your environment and your interactions. They are so important. Like, the environment you're in, do the people around you support you or do they bring you down? Are the words they use triggering you to be more negative, or are they all uplifting and supporting you? If people around you are always saying negative things, you just absorb it. There was a cartoon I watched where someone was saying negative shit and there's another person there, and they absorbed all the negative shit and now they're feeling negative, and it just passes on in that loop. Like, you have to be around people that have big goals, big intentions, and that support you, because if you don't, then you're just going to absorb whatever the hell they're feeling, whatever the hell's going on in their head. Like, if they're people that do have negative, that are negative, but they aspire to be really big and they're working on the negatives, then that can also help you in the way, because you can kind of grow together. But if they're only negative and they're just a pile heap of mess and they don't change that, that's just going to drag you down so much. Like, a lot of the time people say stupidly mean shit because they're either jealous or they just don't know any better. But if you don't let yourself stand up against that, you're going to get kicked down. Like, you really are. And it's only, like, there are some times where I do see a lot of negative, but I keep them in my life and I can feel it's draining me. But I don't want to block them, because in among the negative, there's a lot of positive shit. But if you realize that it's just making you feel shit about yourself and you can't stop thinking about it, block it. Like, that was the reason there was this person that I was in love with following, but my connection to that person was very, like, I felt like I had to keep proving myself, and I felt like I was never good enough. So it got to a point where I just wanted to cut it out of my life. And I don't really miss the content because I can get that content from elsewhere. So you need to be able to make that decision with yourself to move forward. Because if you're constantly not feeling good enough because of some reason, you constantly need to prove yourself to someone, that's taking energy away from you. And it's taking away your thoughts as well. So that's something to consider. Like, don't be afraid to press the block button if they aren't bringing positive into your life, or they're not helping you grow, or they're pulling you backwards in any way. Now, the other one is to unfollow people and stop scrolling where you don't feel worthy enough, just the same as the other one. Like, if there's someone you're following and constantly dragging, like, you're wasting so much energy on watching their life and not feeling great because of them, that's taking away from you trying to be a better person of yourself. So then other people can look up to you, and they probably do, but you don't realize it because you're too busy looking up to this person over here. Exercise is amazing. Endorphins. It releases all the amazing chemical hormones, and it actually changes your body too, and then you'll end up feeling better about yourself. So it's not only endorphins, but it could help you lose weight. It can help sculpt your body. It can help make you stronger. Hey, getting stronger, sculpting your body, all of a sudden, you don't have a negative self-image anymore. You're not feeling bad about yourself. Now, on top of that, it's signaling a cascade of amazing hormones. So you're feeling good. You're making yourself look good. Eat good food. That would help as well. Sculpt you up, drop the body fat, feel good. Also, when you eat really nutritious food, you actually feel freaking good. Like, if you're following a diet plan, for example, and it's full of nutritious food, and then all of a sudden you go away and you're eating, like, shit food, you actually feel shit. Like, when I go away, I don't eat shit food, but I don't eat near as much vegetables, or sometimes I don't drink as much, and my digestion is shit. So I feel shit. But when I'm at home, I have, like, my digestion is on point because I'm fueling myself and I'm drinking my waters. And yes, I do actually get sugar-free maple syrup bottles. Take the lids off them and I put them onto these because I like the I don't know what they're called, Pop Tops thingy-my-bob. Last of all, I'm just going to say one more point. Don't be a bitch and judge others either. Because if you are that person that judges others, or the person that, like, is so critical of other people, then I don't know. It's just negative. And you wouldn't want, like, I say that karma breeds karma, and you'll find that if you're only nice to other people, you will feel that back. And if not, block it. But at the end of the day, your mindset, your mental state, it is highly linked to your worth of self, your body, your confidence, all that stuff can actually breed into your mental state. So if you're constantly anxious and anxiety ridden, you're more likely to have that negative outlook, that negative mindset, that, oh my God, what's happening? So you can take the above points, make yourself feel better about yourself, getting stronger, losing body fat if you want to improve your body composition, and taking the action steps there to make yourself look better and feel better on the outside, feel stronger. But also look within your mindset. Block out the people that don't serve you. Block out the people that make you feel anything less than you are. And block out the people that make you question yourself in the wrong way. Because you should always question yourself in the right way. Because questioning yourself can make you grow. But if you can do all that, don't worry about taking herb A, B, C. Don't worry about what the natural herbologist says about taking this essence and smelling that essence and bathing in this and bathing in that and saying it's going to cure all. Like, the only reason that bathing in this, that, this is going to help you is because you're actually triggering what I said way back in whatever minute it was. You're triggering the sympathetic nervous system all the time with your stress and fight or flight and stress hormones. So if you're putting yourself into the bath, that's helping the parasympathetic, which is what you want. That's the only way that those herbs are going to help. Don't treat it like a cure to be all end all. Look at the root cause instead of band-aiding it. De-stress, get your sleep, stay hydrated, eat the right foods, weight train, have a really good circle around you, and that would really help. Okay.